Here is Immortal Moments for explanation. Friends, like videos and subscribes to our channel. Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin Part 13 Explanation. So let's start our explanation. Following Luo Feng's transmission, Morosa and Moyu Qingyang both quickly rushed towards the cave mansion. Master, your retreat this time was far too short. Morosa returned first, alighting nearby with some dissatisfaction. The carefree and comfortable days were too fleeting. Luo Feng glanced at him. The duration of a retreat naturally varies. Do you still have enough cosmic sand on you? Master understands me, said Morosa, smiling generously. Indeed, I'm almost out. Use it sparingly. Luo Feng tossed over an ink jade bottle. Catching the ink jade bottle, Morosa examined the contents and found over 100 cosmic sand and several piles of primal chaos crystals. His smile brightened considerably. Master is truly benevolent. There is no one more benevolent than Master in the whole Huyang city. All right, no more flattery. Luo Feng smiled. He had forbidden Morosa from causing trouble, and without any income, Morosa needed some pocket money. At this moment, Moyu Qingyang also returned, piloting his small flying boat. Stowing it away, he flew swiftly to Luo Feng and bowed respectfully. Master. This period must have been quite enjoyable for you as well, Morosa said from the side. Many forces took the initiative to befriend me, and certainly, forces have done the same with you. Yes. Moyu Qingyang replied respectfully. During Master's retreat, some powers within Huyang City were unable to visit you, Master, so they came to befriend me. I rejected and ignored many, but I dared not refuse the 13 major forces, and I accepted the gifts they gave me. The total value adds up to about 300 cosmic sand. After all, he was just a servant, and the gifts from each power were not too costly, but given Luo Feng's status, those major forces had to give at least 10 cosmic sand each. Qingyang has gathered so much. You must have received even more, right? Luo Feng looked at Morosa. Just now you said you were almost out. Morosa smiled generously, accepting the gifts, and as for the favors they requested, he pushed them all away cleanly. You know, Master, living expenses in Huyang City are somewhat considerable. Did they give you these gifts under any pretense or for favors? Luo Feng asked. Nothing at all. Morosa said, I just gave them a transmission token imprint. In case of any issues, they could contact me and I could report their requests to you, Master. I also didn't agree to anything. Just provided a way to send messages. Moyu Qingyang added, however, Brother Xu Yu from the Xu clan, an eternal true god, asked me to convey a message. He wishes to host you, Master. Luo Feng nodded. The Xu clan is indeed the largest indigenous family in Huyang City. It might be worth meeting them. Shall I inform Divine Monarch Xu Yu? Moyu Qingyang asked. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Moyu Qingyang immediately contacted Xu Yu with the transmission token, and soon after, said, Master, Divine Monarch Xu Yu has invited you to meet tonight at the Dream Flower Tower. I haven't visited the Dream Flower Tower in a while. Luo Feng nodded, accept his invitation. While Luo Feng emerged from his retreat, Gao Shui went to visit his master, Moli Xiao, in the Moli clan. How have you been progressing with the three-sword sky-splitting beast? Moli Xiao looked at his favorite young disciple. The three-sword sky-splitting beast, truly an eternal-level mechanical flow secret treasure. I've only just barely managed to perform all the maneuvers of the three-sword sky-splitting beast after my studies, Gao Shui replied. Moli Xiao nodded at his reply. Your will is extraordinary, and you are also adept at formations. Just a short while after becoming an eternal true god, you have completely mastered all the maneuvers of the three-sword sky-splitting beast. I indeed did not misjudge you. Master, as a newly promoted eternal true god, I was appointed as one of the 10 commanders of the Huyang Guards. Many eternal true gods are dissatisfied with this, Gao Shui said in a low voice. The 10 generals of the Huyang Legion and the 10 commanders of the Huyang Guards were all capable of leading a legion-level mechanical flow treasure. Moli Xiao himself led one of the legions. Thus, there were only 19 coveted spots available. Strength represented power, as well as resources. The competition for the 19 lucrative positions was fierce. Eternal true gods from the 5 great families themselves, along with those attached to the 5 great families, amounted to over 100 eternal true gods. One can imagine how fierce the competition was. For Gao Shui, newly advanced eternal true god, snagging one spot naturally attracted the dissatisfaction of many eternal true gods. Don't bother with those losers, Mo Xiao said indifferently. A legion-level mechanical flow treasure also depends on who operates it. Like me, leading one legion, I can suppress the collective effort of the other 9 legions. At the level of a true god of void space, your spiritual will reach the pinnacle of an eternal true god. And you excel at formations, you're naturally suited to operate mechanical flow treasures. Once you've accumulated enough experience, I will find an opportunity for you to command one of the Huyang's 10 great legions. Commander Huyang Legion. Gao Shui was surprised and felt the pressure. Huyang's 10 great legions are far more important than the Huyang guards. The difficulty of controlling mechanical flow treasures is even higher. You must have sufficient experience, and it would be best if your spiritual will could break through to the primal chaos dominator level. Then the entire city owner's mansion will not object to you leading a legion, Mo Xiao advised. Gao Shui nodded, I understand. His spiritual will had reached the level of an eternal true god when he was just a true god of void space. As for the breakthrough to the level of the primal chaos overlord, Gao Shui was indeed determined and eager. Go on. Mo Xiao nodded. Out of the many subordinates and disciples he had cultivated, Gao Shui was the most suitable for operating mechanical flow treasures, which was why Mo Xiao nurtured him extensively. Gao Shui respectfully excused himself. Walking through a garden in the Moli clan's cave mansion, where Moli Feiyun and Jerome Qi had been waiting, they immediately intercepted him. Senior brother Gao. Moli Feiyun called out. Gao Shui had no choice but to stop, feeling quite troubled. Having her trained as an eternal true god, he had yet to dabble in romantic relationships. Due to the bloodline cultivation system in the land of origin, most life forms were flesh and blood and could indeed reproduce. However, on the land of origin, life forms generally had very long lifespans, with true gods living for 30,000 epochs, and those of the level of true god of void space and beyond having virtually unlimited lifespans. They did not need to eat or drink, surviving simply by absorbing the power of heaven and earth. Many cultivators had no plans to seek partners. Gao Shui was just like that. Cultivation was filled with endless delights. Why need a wife? Feiyun, Gao Shui could only give a forced smile. He couldn't afford to neglect Moli Feiyun, given the grace his master had shown him in training. Today just happens to be the day I've met senior brother Gao. How about we go out and have some fun together? Moli Feiyun's mind was all on Gao Shui. Commander Gao, Feiyun almost speaks your name every day, Jerome Qi said with a laugh on the side. In my opinion, you might as well move to the Moli family. That way, you can see each other every day. Yes, move to our place. We have more than 10 eternal true gods living in our household, plenty of room, Moli Feiyun said. Just as Gao Shui was about to speak, a young member of the Moli family flew over from a distance, scrutinizing Gao Shui, Commander Gao Shui. Young Master Moli Lian, Gao Shui said with a smile. Moli Lian, what are you here for? Moli Feiyun asked dissatisfiedly. Moli Lian scoffed. The Moli clan was also quite large, and Moli Lian was a young genius of his generation, personally mentored by Moli Xiao and was regarded as a hopeful to become an eternal true god. But Gao Shui was Moli Xiao's favorite disciple. Moli Lian had always treated Gao Shui as a rival, and now that Gao Shui had become an eternal true god first and had been promoted to one of the 10 commanders of the Huyang guards, Moli Lian was naturally envious and jealous. Commander Gao Shui detests evil as if it were a personal enemy. I do admire that, Moli Lian said with a flip of his hand, tossing a golden pebble. This memory stone records the evidence of the sins of Meiwu Qi from the Meiwu family. The evil of Meiwu Qi, even those dark forces are nowhere near his match. I wonder how Commander Gao Shui will deal with this monstrous criminal. Moli Lian. Moli Feiyun berated, Meiwu Qi is an eternal true god of the 5 great families Meiwu family. If there is to be a trial, it should be the 5 great families who conduct it. There's no need for the Huyang guards to intervene. According to the laws of Yu Kingdom, the Huyang guards are responsible for dealing with illegal activities within Huyang City. I'd like to see if Gao Wushui really detests evil as much as he claims to, sneered Moli Lian. Gao Wushui received the memory stone and investigated with his divine power. The information he accessed changed his expression slightly. Are these accusations true? Gao Wushui looked toward Moli Lian. You're telling me that when the common city, Fangju City, was breached by a horde of exotic beasts, countless citizens died or were injured, and you say billions of true gods were taken into his sinful city? Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture had 3 large cities and 189 ordinary cities. The presence of eternal true gods within ordinary cities was rare, making them much less secure. You've only just become an eternal true god. If you were older, you'd slowly come to know. Moli Lian shook his head. Mei Wuqi, to show off, took many young members of the 5 great families into his secret treasure, Sinful City. Quite a few youths from the 5 great families have seen it with their own eyes. The billions of true gods from Fangju City, they are just a part of the sinful citizens of the Sinful City. Of course, most of the citizens captured into the Sinful City have long been tortured and played to death, Moli Lian scoffed. Such a figure of sin, Commander Gao Wushui, what do you plan to do? Gao Wushui said nothing and walked away. Detests evil like an enemy? I'd like to see how he really faces off against Mei Wuqi of the Mei Wu family. Moli Lian watched him leave, full of contempt. Moli Lian, what exactly are you trying to do? Moli Feiyan couldn't believe it. Don't you see? I'm just stirring the pot, setting Gao Wushui against Mei Wuqi, Moli Lian stated. Whether one or the other falls, it would delight me. I'm going to tell father about this, Moli Feiyan said. Suit yourself. Moli Lian turned and walked away. The night fell. Luo Feng, accompanied by Morosa and Moyu Qingyang, arrived at the Dream Flower Tower. Brother Luo He, Zhu had been waiting for some time. Brother Zhu has arrived quite early, Luo Feng said. Ha ha, having the chance to host Brother Luo He, of course, I should come early. I have arranged everything for the banquet, please, Zhu said with a laugh. His hair was like little snakes, his face adorned with green secret patterns, but his smile was brilliant. Luo Feng and Zhu flew together, their servants and attendants following behind. The Shu clan have been rooted in Huyang City for over 1 million eras, passing down from generation to generation until now. There are hardly any secrets in Huyang City that our Shu clan isn't aware of, Zhu said with a smile. In terms of being well informed, the Flame Wind Pavilion, the city owner's mansion, Shi Kingdom's forces. At least within Huyang City, they probably all fall a bit short compared to our Shu clan. Luo Feng nodded, this he actually believed. The Shu clan was too vast, having infiltrated every industry in Huyang City, including high-ranking experts in the Huyang Legion and the Huyang Guards. Who within Huyang City doesn't know of the Shu clan's reputation? Luo Feng remarked. Lord Luo He, Divine Monarch Xu Yu, the Dream Flower Tower Master personally greeted them. She needed to survive in Huyang City, and she couldn't afford to offend either of the two before her. Shall I call for some music, Divine Monarch Xu Yu? Xu Yu didn't even look at the Dream Flower Tower Master, instead, he smiled at Luo Feng. As long as Brother Luo He wishes to listen, I believe the Dream Flower Tower Master will definitely oblige. It depends on whether Lord Luo He wants to listen or not, the Dream Flower Tower Master said with a light smile. Xu Yu gave an order, and the Dream Flower Tower Master couldn't refuse. It's not necessary, just let Araya come, Luo Feng said. The Dream Flower Tower Master was taken aback for a moment, then smiled. Lord Luo He truly favors Araya. It's because the Tower Master's illusion techniques are too powerful, I can't bear them, Luo Feng said with a smile. Then hurry and have Araya come over, Xu Yu beckoned, leading Luo Feng forward as they continued to fly. The Dream Flower Tower Master looked on in silence. Xu Yu, though seemingly very friendly to Luo Feng, was responsible for handling many affairs of the Shu clan. The city owner's mansion and Shi Kingdom's forces had to give him some face, and the 18 dark forces wouldn't dare to be enemies with the Shu clan. Since that last time, Luo He has been unwilling to listen to my illusionary melody. The Dream Flower Tower master felt somewhat disappointed. She longed to influence Luo He more than Shang Qianyang or Sang Shuiyun did. Dream Flower Tower, besides Luo Feng and Xu Yu, two esteemed guests, there are two other distinguished guests tonight. Two figures looked out through the palace doors to the outside, noticing Luo Feng and Xu Yu flying over from a distance. That must be Xu Yu and Luo He, the man with blue hair exclaimed. Luo, his name is often heard these days. He single-handedly destroyed a Dark Forces faction, killing the Blood Python Association leader, a truly remarkable feat. It's just a Dark Forces faction, after all, another young man in a purple robe scoffed. 19 Dark Forces factions, they sound formidable in name. But don't they have to bow their heads obediently before our 5 great families? Most of the cosmic sand they earn has to be offered to our families. Brother Meiwu, our family is strong, but in terms of individual strength, Lord Luo He is much stronger than we are, the blue-haired man said. Brother Jiang, don't flatter those idlers, Meiwu Qi said indifferently. Even if they have intelligence, and occasionally fortune brings them substantial strength, each step forward is extremely difficult for them. Top-tier inheritances, precious resources, mentors' guidance, they have to fight for every single opportunity. How can they compare with the descendants of our great clans? These resources are ours from birth. The blue-haired man gave a self-deprecating smile and raised his glass. Born with abundant resources, we barely become eternal true gods. In terms of talent, we are far from the likes of Luo He and Shu Hu. They still have the hope of challenging the primal chaos overlord, while we can't see even a glimmer of hope. The limit of the bloodline path is the primal chaos overlord. We must be very strong in every aspect, and that hope is beyond us, Meiwu Qi said with a laugh, but for the likes of Luo He and Shu Hu, even risking their lives is in vain. Becoming a primal chaos overlord from an eternal true god is indeed very difficult, the blue-haired man admitted. In the entire land of origin, there are not many primal chaos overlords, and places like the Flame Wind Ancient Country and Thunder Ancient Country, along with some terrifying forces, are better at nurturing strong individuals and are more likely to produce a primal chaos overlord. In the public eye, the probability of a commoner becoming a primal chaos overlord is absurdly low. In the land of origin, we of the royal family and the descendants of the primal chaos clans are born high above. Even when fighting to the death with Sha Kingdom's forces, it is the so-called powerful eternal true gods like Luo He and Shu Hu who are fighting on the front lines. If we win, we continue to rule Huyang City. If we lose, at worst we leave Huyang City, Meiwu Qi laughed heartily. Our primal chaos clan has also produced a primal chaos overlord, who props up the clan, the blue-haired man said. Luo He, Shu Hu, and these powerful eternal true gods, they all go to fight to the death. With many top eternal true gods weathered by such life and death challenges, ultimately new primal chaos overlords will rise. But we will never have that opportunity. We have no hope, but they are the ones running out of life, Meiwu Qi laughed uproariously. I've seen far too many of these powerful eternal true gods fall. Luo Feng and Xu Yu took their seats, while some of the servants they brought sat in a corner. While listening to Araya's illusionary melody, Luo Feng naturally used the Lai Yuan techniques, 7 emotions of heart refining technique, thoroughly immersing himself in it. Although he usually maintained the Great Destruction heart refining technique to toughen his will, occasionally practicing the 7 emotions of heart refining technique had a different flavor. This Luo He really enjoys Araya's illusionary melody. No wonder he fell out with the Blood Python Association over this little musician, do you observe from the side? After all, as an eternal true god, he wasn't much affected by the illusionary melody. But with Luo Feng closing his eyes and fully indulging in it, it wasn't good for him to speak. When the performance was over. Excellent, 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 Luo Feng opened his eyes. His cultivation journey had naturally left him with many regrets, but in the illusory realm, he could make up for them. The emotional stimulation was extremely intense. Supreme, you flatter me, thought Araya, feeling very grateful for Luo Feng's importance. Naturally, she performed with all her heart. Luo Feng's esteem had caused her value in Dream Flower Tower to surge, with her performance fee being a full 10 times what it used to be. And there was no one daring to harass her either. Even the Thousand Leaves Vine clan, backing her, had much easier days within Huyang City. Apparently no force wished to become the next Blood Python Association. You've made significant progress, keep it up, Luo Feng smiled and said. With the assistance of the 7 emotions of heart refining technique, the strength of Araya's illusionary melody was indeed very suitable. Yes, Araya will take her leave, the little musician respectfully withdrew. Ji watched the scene and said with a laugh, Brother Luo, he is indeed benevolent, taking such good care of a mere little musician. Ha 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 ha. Luo Feng laughed. I was immersed in that illusionary melody just now, neglecting Brother Xu Yu. I was also enjoying the illusionary melody, Yu said. Brother Luo, how well do you understand Huyang City? Only a superficial knowledge, Luo Feng replied. Zhong Qianyang had given him an overview of all the forces in Huyang City, including introductions to a large number of eternal true gods, which was all basic information. Detailed intelligence, especially on an individual eternal true god, was extremely expensive. Brother Luo, after all, has been in Huyang City for only a little more than a century. It's still a short time, Ju said. Give it time, and naturally, you'll understand a lot of the secrets. I haven't been in Huyang City for long and have only had a conflict with the Blood Python Association. I haven't crossed paths with other strong individuals, Luo Feng said. You indeed had only one conflict, but it resulted in the complete annihilation of the Blood Python Association. Ju smiled. Now the 5 great families and Shi Kingdom's forces are all eyeing you. Oh. Luo Feng listened attentively. The city owner's mansion and Shi Kingdom's forces are fiercely battling, but both sides will use other strong individuals to fight to the death for them, Ju said. Offering some benefits to entice outside powerhouses to help is their common practice. Brother Luo, with your strength, both sides will definitely want to win you over. My recommendation is, help out with the easy tasks to get some benefits. But when it comes to big trouble, it's better not to get involved, Ju said. Preserving oneself is more important. Makes sense, Luo Feng nodded. In the entire Huyang City, besides the city owner's mansion, the 5 great families, and the forces of the Shi Kingdom, there are still our third-party forces, Ju said quietly with a smile. In terms of the number of eternal true gods and the most top-notch powerhouses, it is our native families and local forces that are truly the strongest. Luo Feng nodded slightly, his stance seemingly relaxed, but he acknowledged the substantial overall strength, among which many hidden dragons and crouching tigers lay hidden. Brother Luo, you are not a member of the 5 great families. Even if you align with them, you are just working for them. The Shi Kingdom's forces care even less about the lives of their henchmen. Ju looked at Luo Feng. You were born to be on our side. There's truth in that, Luo Feng nodded. Ju laughed heartily upon hearing this. We are the true force to reckon with. What difference does it make to us native families and native forces, no matter who rules over Huyang City? To the godly king and primal chaos overlord, perhaps they care deeply about the loss of offerings. But for us, it's all the same. We still have to pay a hefty fee. So no matter how fiercely the city owner's mansion and the Shi Kingdom's forces fight, we all need to cherish our own lives. Ju shook his head. They have never cared about our life and death. Luo Feng nodded. Brother Xu Yu speaks wisely. As long as we are united enough, we will be the strongest force. Both the city owner's mansion and the Shi Kingdom's forces can only try to bribe us, but dare not coerce us, Ju said with evident confidence. Suddenly, a powerful disturbance faintly arose from the outside world. What's going on? Luo Feng and Xu looked through the hall doors and saw that in the distant sky appeared a 3-sword sky-splitting beast, and riding on the surface of the beast was the leader of the Huyang Guard, Gao Wu Shui. Mei Wuqi and Jiang Chengyu arrived at the entrance of the hall with some confusion, and upon seeing the mechanical flow secret treasure, 3-sword sky-splitting beast descending outside the grand hall, they sensed ill intentions. The Dream Flower Tower is a place of enjoyment, yet Commander Gao Wu has come with the 3-sword sky-splitting beast. Mei Wuqi looked at Gao Wu Shui. Commander Gao Wu, what brings you here? Commander Gao Wu, come in and have a drink. The rest of the Huyang guards can rest alongside my treat, the blue-haired man Jiang Chengyu said with a smile. Gao Wu Shui spoke coldly. Mei Wuqi, the Huyang Guard has received evidence of your crime in capturing a large number of citizens of Huyang City, and of tormenting and murdering them. Now, you need to come with me to the Huyang Guard headquarters. The blue-haired man was shocked. However, Mei Wuqi's face darkened, and as his aura stirred, the night seemed to grow darker. He spoke hoarsely, "Commander Gao Wu, I am Mei Wuqi of the Mei Wu family. Are you sure you want to arrest me? Isn't there some kind of misunderstanding?" Jiang Chengyu also chimed in. "It is my duty as a member of the Huyang Guard to arrest you," Gao Wu Shui said, looking at Mei Wuqi. "Mei Wuqi, come with me. You rely on us, the 5 great families, but now you turn against us and bite the hand that feeds you." Mei Wuqi sneered, "Gao Wu Shui, I'll report this to the city owner's mansion right now. I want to see how they deal with this. How the city owner's mansion deals with me is a matter for the future. Now, you need to come with me," Gao Wu Shui said coldly. "I am going to count to 3, and if you resist, I will have no choice but to take action by force. 3, 2. Gao Wu Shui did not waver. Boom! A deep purple serpentine exotic beast wove through the void and appeared out of nowhere above the Dream Flower Tower, causing many patrons of the establishment to exclaim in surprise. Luo Feng and Xu Yu also watched all this from afar. Commander Gao Wu really is formidable. He's starting to arrest the eternal true gods of the 5 great families. The deep purple serpentine exotic beast descended slowly, and atop the beast appeared a figure in armor. Even royal descendants and descendants of the primal chaos clan must abide by the laws of the Yu kingdom, Gao Wu Shui said coldly. This Mei Wuqi's sins are grievous. He has wrought havoc within Huyang City for many years, harming countless citizens, and his behavior outside Huyang City has been even more unrestrained. Just during the attack on Fangzhou City by the exotic beast horde, he kidnapped billions of citizens. The number of citizens he has tortured and killed tallies in the billions. How can such transgressions be taken lightly? You're slandering me. As a member of the 5 great families, how could I act so recklessly? Mei Wuqi retorted angrily. The armored figure chuckled lightly. It's often that rumors and slander against the members of the 5 great families occur. Commander Gao Wu is after all new to his role as the leader of the Huyang Guard and lacks experience. Whether it is slander, he first needs to come with me to the Huyang Guard headquarters. After we confirm the truth, a decision will be made, Gao Wu Shui said. The armored figure stood next to Mei Wuqi, with the serpentine exotic beast's figure behind him. Commander Gao Wu, all you need to do is submit the evidence to the city owner's mansion. They will naturally verify the truth of the evidence, and how to punish will also be decided by them. You need not intervene anymore. Gao Wu Shui had anticipated encountering significant resistance, but he hadn't expected that he wouldn't even be able to take the first step of taking Mei Wuqi away. Commander Gao Wu, there's no need for you to interfere with Mei Wuqi's matter any longer. Return immediately to the Huyang Guard headquarters and submit all the evidence of the crimes you've discovered, came an order from the city owner's mansion. Gao Wu Shui felt a chill in his heart and sighed inwardly. Even if I bring him back to the Huyang Guard headquarters, I'm afraid I won't be able to harm him in the least, Gao Wu Shui thought to himself. Without a verdict from the city owner's mansion, he dared not kill a member of the 5 great families who was an eternal true god. If he dared to do so, even his master, Moli Xiao, wouldn't be able to protect him. His experience in his youth indeed made him detest evil. But he would not accompany Mei Wuqi to the grave over it. I will submit the evidence, and I believe the city owner's mansion will deliver a fair punishment. Gao Wu Shui glanced at Mei Wuqi, then turned and flew into the 3-sword sky-splitting beast. Whoosh! The 3-sword sky-splitting beast immediately shot through the void and away. Ha ha ha! Mei Wuqi finally relaxed completely and started laughing. This Gao Wu Shui is such an idiot. He still wants to catch me. Luo Feng, watching all this from a distance, was somewhat surprised. Brother Xu Yu, is what the Commander Gao Wu just said true? Fangzhou City was breached by a horde of exotic beasts, and countless citizens were captured by this Mei Wuqi. Luo Feng asked. He's tormented and killed a countless number of citizens. This number indeed shocked Luo Feng. After all, the laws of Yu Kingdom were quite strict on the surface. It's indeed true. You'll know if you stay in Huyang City for a long time. Mei Wuqi is notoriously insane, Yu said. In his secret treasure, Sinful City, countless innocent citizens are imprisoned and tormented to death. Over the long years, it's indeed impossible to count. The 5 great families just let him be. Luo Feng frowned. The 5 great families can restrain many dark forces and can be ruthless if someone crosses the line. But they can't be ruthless towards their own people. Yu shook his head. The insanity of Mei Wuqi has plenty of evidence. If you don't believe me, you can buy information from the Flame Wind Pavilion. Luo Feng was looking into the distance, where Mei Wuqi was talking and laughing with another leader of the Huyang Guard. I want to buy all the evidence of Mei Wuqi's crimes, Luo Feng said through the transmission token, contacting the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. All evidence of Mei Wuqi's crimes requires 1 cosmic sand, the Dark Hall responded. Purchase. After Luo Feng bought it, the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall sent him the detailed evidence. This evidence turned Luo Feng's face cold. Mei Wuqi was even more mad than he had imagined. He was a total lunatic with an utterly twisted and maniacal heart, tormenting those innocent citizens to create sufficiently powerful twisted souls through torment and trampling. Using suffering to create strong twisted souls, according to the records of the Dark Hall of the Flame Wind Pavilion, he has 16 outstanding works. 16 true gods with tormented twisted souls and wills that match eternal true gods, Luo Feng said softly. He even once brought his works to show off in front of me, Yu sighed. The Flame Wind Pavilion also has a bounty on him. Luo Feng found out about the bounty on Mei Wuqi. The bounty was merely 20,000 cosmic sands. It was probably someone who really disliked him who spent the cosmic sand to offer the bounty. Accept the mission, Luo Feng decided, taking on the task of assassinating Mei Wuqi. Forget about these things. There are so many dark matters on the land of origin, many of which we can do nothing about, Yu said. It's already not easy for our own families to survive. Luo Feng stood up. Brother Yu has family concerns, but I am unencumbered. If this matter is brought before me and I turn a blind eye, my heart won't be at peace. These filths ought to be wiped clean. With one step, Luo Feng, whoosh, had already left the hall and was heading straight for where Mei Wuqi was. This episode ends here.